Hello, welcome to Blah Blah Land, brand new podcast where we celebrate people who live their best life. I'm Adam, and each episode I'm hopefully going to be sitting down and chatting to positive people, happy people, people that like to share their knowledge of how they've got on in life and how they keep themselves happy, and also get a bit real and talk about how happiness isn't just all smiley faces. It can take a lot of work to get there. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, and I'm on Facebook. It is at Bringontheblah, and if it's Facebook, then it's facebook.com/Bringontheblah. So today's episode, which is actually the very first episode of Blah Blah Land, I sat down with a friend of mine, Davies. She is a therapist. She is somebody that I enjoy chatting to. I have done ever since I've known her. And we sat down and we talked about things from mental health. We talked about self-righteousness that you get on social media, and much, much more. It's the very first episode, so I had no idea what I was going into. She had no idea how it was going to come out and what was going to happen. We sat down. We just went with it. So the first thing you're going to hear when the show starts is us just chatting. There's no kind of introduction. It's very kind of chilled, relaxed. And that's kind of how I want this podcast to be. So enjoy and review us on Apple Podcasts, because apparently I've been told that if people rate and review us, other people know we exist. Either way, enjoy the show. Oh yeah, it was.
Never really seen you, have you?
No, I'm rubbish. Go out and seeing people.
It's been a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
Was you the main singer or the backing singer?
Main singer.
Was you?
Yeah. Yeah, I used to sing in blues bands and rock and roll.
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll. Why is it when you say it like that, it sounds like it's 1970s glam rock?
Used to sing in rock and roll. Sex, drugs and rock and roll.
What would you sing nowadays?
I haven't done anything for ages. Actually, it's really weird, it's like an evolution. So my dad's been in a band. He played at the Legion.
Oh, right, yeah.
A few weeks
I saw you
ago.
posting about that, yeah.
Yeah, and his guitarist's son is an incredible guitarist.
Yeah.
So we're forming like children of the Dirty Work Blues Band, and we're going to form a band.
Nice.
Like in the next generation.
The next generation.
But it's going to be a bit like, I think, Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's proper old school, isn't it?
Yeah. But more modern, because Drew's very young and I'm not. So I assume he'll bring the youthful injection.
Look at us. This generation, we're always doing reboots of something, aren't we? Rebooting.
I'll just be the old lady who sings. I'll be like Janis Joplin, but with less drugs. And he'll bring the youth.
Yeah.
Whoever else he's bringing.
There you go. Well, Susie Quattro lives around here, doesn't she?
I know.
So she.
I used to go to school with her son.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mingling about with the celebs.
I know. That's just me. That's me all over.
I said, no, I find it interesting because she works, not just work, she went to the local shop, saw at the local shop, she hangs around here. And no, my missus used to work in a local shop.
Oh, yeah.
And then she used to go in there. And then one day, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know who she was. I knew the name.
Yeah.
I knew, and then when they played that one song, I was like, oh yeah, that song. And then there was a documentary about her on Sky Arts.
Is it Devilgate Drive?
No, it was.
That's what her song. That's the song I know.
I can't remember what the name of it, but I remember if you played it to me, I'd be like, yeah, that's the one I remember.
Down at Devilgate Drive, that one.
But again, I watched a documentary about it, and I was like, oh, interesting. And then she around the corner. I could have gone round, knocked around the door, and just asked her questions.
She moved. She lived in a huge house.
Yeah.
But I don't know where she moved to now. But she used to do quite a bit of jams and stuff. Her daughter and her daughter used to sing quite a bit of blues and come to blues jams and stuff that my dad ran back in the day, talking like it's aired up the painful amount of years. Like 15, 16 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. She was a good singer, actually. She runs the blues jam at the basement.
Oh, there you go.
I think Laura Laura is her name. Yeah.
I'm not even going to pretend to know that. I'm still up to scratch with what's going on in the local community. Andy Paul would hate me. He would absolutely hate me.
Be more informed.
It's when he does the Panic Awards every year. He goes, Ad, you going to do the Panic Awards again? Yeah, just tell me what day it's on and I'll be there. I don't know half the bands. I don't know who's playing.
That's what really makes me realise my age, you know, that obviously there was a period of time doing Walthamstock.
Yeah.
Where I knew all the bands, knew all the people in the bands, ex-partners were in bands and stuff. That makes me sound like a serial band data. And then I went to the Panic Awards. Was it last year? Yeah. No, this year. I went this year.
Yeah, I saw you there, didn't I?
And I thought, I felt, I wasn't drinking.
Right.
Because I had to be up for work the next day. So I was like, I'm sober.
Yep.
All of these people are shorter than me, younger than me, and playing music that I semi-understand. And it made me feel really old. And I was like, this is what it's like. Do you remember when your parents used to listen to like Radio 1 or something, when you'd be in the car with them and they'd say, I don't know who this is. And I think, how can you not
never heard of them?
To Radio 1, like what existence are you living in? And then I have definitely transitioned out of listening to.
I did that years
Radio
ago.
1, long time ago, and now I realise that it's just the natural.
It's the way it works. That's why Radio 2. I used to always think, why is Radio 2 more popular than Radio 1? How can that be possible?
I know.
And then I'd actually think about it and think, well, there's only a small amount of teens that actually listen to one station, whereas anyone from the age of 25 upwards can listen to Radio 2.
It's not even the music that I can't listen to Radio 1 for. It is the presentation.
Oh,
like,
okay.
You know, that like, oh, we're doing the going home song. And
yeah.
I was like, shut up. I don't need that in my life.
No, that's it. Oh, I'm going to turn it over to...
I don't need this energy.
Yeah, Steve Wright can sort of send me to sleep whilst I'm going home.
I love Steve Wright.
Do you?
Yeah, I love him. I found myself really quite enjoying the Jeremy Vine show.
Yeah. Do you watch him on TV though?
No. Oh no. I haven't transitioned that far.
No, you like.
You should worry if that's what.
Yeah, I'll listen to him, but I won't watch him. That's how it works out.
That keeps me youthful. Not watching Jeremy Vine.
So, I'm sitting in Anna's house.
Yes, you are.
Drinking coffee.
Yep.
Ooh.
The cat's turned his back on you. You haven't given him enough love.
Oh, it's like the person from the Mighty Boosh that turns their back on people. Remember that? There's a reference. So, this is actually, I mean, I don't know how it's going to work, obviously. I'll put episodes out and podcasts out and stuff like that. This could be the first, second, third, fourth episode. Who knows?
It could be the only.
It could be the only.
This could be so good that you won't need to do anymore.
Yeah, a peak. And then I can't go any further with it. But, so this is Blah Blah Land. Do you like the name?
Blah, yeah, I do.
What do you think it means? Because that's what I'm going to ask people, because I'm interested to know what people think Blah Blah Land is actually going to be.
Well, do you know what? I actually thought about this yesterday, because have you listened to the Adam Buxton podcast?
Yes, yeah.
And he has his little jingle, doesn't he?
About,
and he says blah, blah,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And I was listening to that on the way home yesterday, and I thought, doesn't it just mean kind of crapping on? Like just seeing
chatting.
where it goes.
Just chatting, isn't it?
What does blah blah mean? Have you looked up what the word blah
I've
means?
never actually looked it up. I
dictionary?
should do. There you go. You've
Google
called me out
while we chat.
Yeah, you've called me out straight away from the beginning.
Mean?
No research. But I don't know where it come from. So I think I love the film La La Land, but this has got nothing to do with La La Land. But
that's fine, because I appreciate that massively.
Yeah. And then I just thought, you know what? Blah Blah Land sounds quite funny.
Yeah.
And then I thought it went from there. I'm like, chatting, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, there we go, that'll do. So there's not really main reason.
A lot of thought into
yeah. So someone got to, have you got an actual reason? Like, you're going to go, have you looked into it? Is there like a Greek definition of blah that means... I
kind of want to Google what blah means.
Do it now.
I might do that. What does blah mean? There must be a definition of what blah means. So yeah, you didn't put tons of thought in it. You just
And I think maybe that is probably the thesis of the whole evolution of the show. Yeah, there's not a lot of thought gone into this.
Oh, this is awful. Are you ready for the first thing that comes up?
Oh, is it going to be bad? Is it going to be like it's a bad connotation? Blah, blah means
okay.
like...
Are you ready? Blah.
Yeah.
Used to refer to something which is boring or without meaningful content.
Oh, there we go. All right, so maybe we're being ironic then. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what we're doing. So We're switching it.
Or this is even better. Used to substitute for actual words in contexts where they are felt to be too tedious or lengthy to give in full.
See, part of me feels like this is perfect. Part of me feels like this is exactly what it should be.
Yeah.
Someone will find entertainment and interest in what we're saying.
In North America, tidbit for you, it also means depression, i.e. he battled a case of the blahs.
Well, then that makes it interesting.
That is
because a lot of the stuff I wanted to cover in it was like mental health.
Okay.
And all that stuff. So there we go. See, what an introduction.
Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe
that will. You don't know where it will go to.
Or maybe
metamorphosis.
Maybe I was just trying to be funny with a name of a film that I quite liked.
Let's not give it too much.
Yeah, I'm like Chris Martin. I'm like Chris Martin when they ask him in Coldplay, "How did you come up with the writing of this song?" He doesn't answer that question. He's like, "I don't know.
I just wrote it."
Yeah, the words there, the song's there. Just enjoy it. And stop.
Enjoy it for what it is.
Stop looking into it. Exactly.
Give it a meme.
So Anna's here. Well, Anna's here obviously because I'm in her house. Because that would be weird if I was if you wasn't here and I was recording from your house. I don't think anyone would enjoy that.
That'd be the least offensive break-in ever.
It would be. I was like, "Would you break it? I'm just doing a podcast. What's the problem?"
Yeah, what's the problem? Calm down.
Isn't it? And so we've known each other for
probably a long time. Casually.
It's a casual knowing of each other, though. I'd find.
Sort of. Probably when. Well, I would say 15 years.
15 years in the making.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, that's crazy, isn't it?
I think we are what happens when you hang around with a massive group of people and then slowly drift apart from people, but still use social media to keep connected.
Yeah.
It's probably the best way.
Absolutely.
Because if we didn't have social media, then we probably would never see each other.
No.
We'd probably walk past each other and be like, I think I knew you once.
Yeah, I know that face. We would probably end up at something in 10 years' time, like a village pumpkin display.
Yeah.
We've both transitioned into village life.
That's it. We're villagers now. we are locals.
Yeah.
That's how we are.
Yeah.
But so we've met through friends. We've sort of I want to say the music scene.
No.
But it
Pubs.
was pubs, yeah, really. But
generally musically.
Yeah, it was
say music focused.
Local music culture.
Yeah.
And we kind of knew people who were in bands and
Andy Paul, I think he's
a linchpin.
What's the 6 degrees of separation?
He is,
from
yeah.
Andy Paul.
He's the Nick Fury of Chelmsford. He's the Avengers. Like we're the Avengers. We could be the really bad, like the crappy version of the Avengers.
Yeah.
The really ones that no one cares about.
Yeah, he'll be thrilled to know his name's been mentioned twice already. We're not even 5 minutes in.
I'll tag him in it and then just make him listen. And then he'd be like, "Wow, I got
the
a
end."
Yeah. Or I edit and beep it out, and then people have to decipher. So I couldn't put his name in data protection. So, so we kind of knew each other. We've spoken a lot. We've hung around a lot.
Yeah.
I think before we start recording, we were talking and how we've changed over the past 10 years or so, obviously. And it's not like that. I don't want to make this all like egotistical. Be like, well, I've changed for the better of it, but I've naturally evolved and transitioned. Yeah. Transitioned into a sort of a new sort of mindset, new person. Yeah. But it still hasn't changed. I'm still a family man, still got a job and that. But I feel like a lot of things I've stopped doing were hindering my evolution.
Do you?
My growth, yeah.
Okay.
So one thing that I sort of jumping straight into myself really for asking you, but one thing I stopped doing was being self-deprecating.
Okay.
And that has really helped me.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
So, and if people listening now thinking, why is Adam having like a therapy session straight away on a podcast? Because you are a therapist.
I am, yeah.
So straight away I'm like...
Invite the chat.
So I'm just going to come in and use it as a free therapy session. No.
Brilliant. Yeah, I usually charge 40 quid for this.
Yeah. And we don't usually podcast it for people to hear. But no, I'm just really interested to see how you got into that. Because obviously when I first knew you wasn't a therapist, was you?
No. I've been a therapist. I've been in and around. I started off as like a youth worker. I could give like a really noble explanation of why, but I think age kind of 18, I thought, well, I'm going to be a famous singer, so I'm going to get me a job that is pretty easy, and I don't have to sit in a desk. I was all like, I'm not working for the man. I want to be like cool, and and if I get famous, I would have already have generated like a pretty good youth fan base. By working with them.
And also, if you went on the X Factor, you would have had a really good story behind you. Because I would have been
I did actually audition for the X Factor.
Did you really?
And I got reasonably far in it, and then I decided not to move forward with like a really overly ethical standpoint, which I regret in hindsight now. Because we could be sitting in a much bigger house.
We could have, but it might be a little bit more depressing because you'd be like,
I haven't just through my like painkiller priory stay, and not therapeutically minded.
Like, why wasn't I invited back for the next series to perform my song?
Because you're a drunk.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. So I did youth work for years and years and years, and then I kind of. Moved into working with kids who are the more hard to reach, so kind of youth offending, prisons, and started to see a real kind of common theme that actually they didn't really need me to chastise them and take them to McDonald's. They needed something a bit more. So I started to train to be a therapist.
Nice.
And I love it. I love it. It's really varied, and you get to do stuff like this. Just chat with people, connect with people. It's obviously a lot more complicated than that. Don't give you a degree for chatting, but but I love it. We were chatting before you started recording that it just, for me, there's so much in getting to know people on without sounding too therapy, like a much deeper level, which sometimes can be one conversation, where you see beyond the surface of people, and into what makes them tick. And I think when you train in therapy, you kind of tend to not take people at face value anymore. You kind of have a little guesstimation of, oh, you're quite brash and loud and you seem egotistical, but I'm going to think that maybe blah, blah, blah has happened to you. And therefore, that's why you're like that. So I'm not going to judge you too harshly. Does that kind of make sense?
It does, yeah. What was it I read the other day? Because this is like a new thing. I read... past month been reading all these like meaningful quotes, right? And I don't want to like sound like that dick that just goes, oh, let's just release a meaningful quote on Instagram that you don't even understand or mean.
No, but sometimes it gives you thinking points.
It does, and that's it. So if I can if it's made me think, it's done its job.
Yeah.
I think Russell Brand sort of said it once, and he was like, drink, drugs, all right, are not gateway drugs. They're not gateways. Trauma.
Yes.
And that is a gateway.
That's so
neglect.
True.
And it kind of made you thinking. You think, well, it is, because we're quite ignorant to the people that need help.
Yeah.
And I'm a massive supporter of supporting mental health as much as supporting your physical health.
Yeah.
So...
that's absolutely. So at the moment, one of the things I do is I run well-being groups for carers. I do it as part of a charity. And I always talk to them about how if you have a headache, right, you can guarantee... if you're a reasonably well-adjusted adult and you've got stuff in your house, that you'll have paracetamol, Lemsip, ibuprofen. If you fall over and hurt yourself, you're going to have some Germaline, some TCP, some plasters. You're going to have all of that. And you might have a headache and take some paracetamol and then think, oh, that's not working. Maybe it's a tension headache, I'll take some ibuprofen. Or you'll lay down or you'll get a massage. You'll do something to look after yourself. You'll have probably 20 things in your house if you have a good scout that you could do to look after yourself if you are unwell. But if we're mentally not well, if we're emotionally not feeling ourselves, we don't do that, really. We still don't. And actually, going back to what you said about mental health is a gateway drug, really, into other stuff. Yeah. I always say to people, like, when you're a baby, you're born super pure. Like, you've had no experience. To make you who you are, and what happens to you in your formative years and your experiences is what makes you who you are. So, in one sense, if you're born into a family where mum's has a drug addiction problem and dad's not there, is that your fault? Or
no, exactly.
It's your choice when you're older to try and make a change, when you recognise that isn't that isn't working for you anymore, you don't feel okay. But you can't choose that kind of formative space you grow up in. That's ridiculous to even think like that. So Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was quite powerful. I saw that as well.
Yeah. And I think the fact that it comes from Russell Brand is somebody you're going to be, you either like him or hate him.
Yeah.
But you got to respect the guy has been through a lot, and he's jumped out of a certain limelight to go, no, actually, do you know what? I went through a lot. Maybe what I'm saying should be heard.
Well, and he would have had a lot of therapy as well.
Oh, big
time.
time.
So he's experienced talking about that kind of
addiction
movement
and
in
that.
the mind and addiction. And he's a very sexy man, so I'm quite happy to listen to whatever he says.
It's very, very, very beardy now, I've noticed.
It's very beardy, I love it. But I do think that he, because Russell Brand has this incredible vocabulary, I think he come over. I've listened to some of his podcasts, and they're brilliant if you know that language.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes it's a bit, I don't think it's easy to access.
I think that, the intellect of what he says and the way he says it can kind of make... I've got to choose my words carefully here. Maybe actually I'll put myself in that position. If I don't understand something, I'll try my best to try and understand it. Yeah. But then if I feel a bit stupid out of it, then I'll be like, well, maybe I won't. I'll listen to someone more my level. Yeah. And that's kind of what we end up doing. And I consider myself, when I talk... I can sometimes sound really blasé about something. Yeah. I can try and get a point across, and it can come across really like, "What are you talking about? You're just rambling. It makes no sense." I'm a waffler. Yeah, I can waffle. Yeah, I can waffle. I can get my words mixed up. I can say the wrong word. But when I write something down, it's like a different person. Okay. So people have always said that. They've always said that you're very articulate when you write something down. I'm like, yeah, I know, because I can. But sometimes when I'm talking, I'm a bit almost lazy with my words. Okay. And I'll just talk and say stuff and thing and you know what I mean, and stuff like that. Yeah. And I think it's just a way I am.
But there's so much going into how we talk and communicate with people. We're like operating on 28 different levels. Like, what does the other person think about me? Yeah. Do I sound like a complete waffle monster?
Waffle monster.
I've made that up.
That's great. That is.
There's so much going on, isn't there? Whereas when you're writing, and also I don't know if you know this, when you write or when you draw, when you do stuff, you use your unconscious material.
There you go.
So it's a good thing to do anyway.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I love writing.
Yeah, you've got time to think, you've got time to process, but also you process some stuff when you write or draw, and use that you don't even know that you're doing.
Exactly, yeah. And I think that's what I do with my writing. That's why I've enjoyed writing so much, because sometimes it's almost as if I let my brain go. So I'm just like, just say what here are the points. You've got 3 points that I want to get out of this little essay or this little paragraph or this Facebook status. I've got 3 points I want to get across. And then I'll just let it go. And then I'll read back and I'll be like, oh, yeah, that's really good, that is. Yeah. But if you've got me to stand up and say that in front of people, it wouldn't sound exactly how it sounded on the page. It would sound like, what's this guy talking about? He's up there talking nonsense. That's kind of what it'd feel like. So... But that's why I like writing. So sometimes I don't feel like I hide behind when I write stuff, but I can go, right, if I want to get my point across, I'll write it. Yeah.
Do you get imposter syndrome when you're talking to people?
Massively.
Yeah.
Massively.
Yeah.
It's one thing that I'm getting better at it. I kind of not enjoy it, but sometimes when I click and notice that it's kicked in, I toy with it. I'm like, oh, how am I going to get around this one then? Yeah. But oh mate, I get that a lot.
I get mega imposter syndrome. So my speciality is in anxiety and stress. Yeah. And so all I do all week is I'm either training people or I'm running well-being groups. I'm talking about it all the time. Yeah. And I get good feedback. That's which is really nice. But as you can guarantee, the first 5 minutes when I'm setting up my stuff, I'm thinking, I don't even know what the hell I'm doing here. Who the hell is paying me to do this? Exactly. I'm talking from a place of not knowing anything. You could it doesn't really matter. Why am I here? It really freaks me out, and I talk about it all the time. So I run a business, and me and my friend Shelley run this business, and we do training in schools. And you can guarantee halfway through any training, which we're being paid to do, one of us will turn to the other and say, I've completely lost my mind. I don't know what. They're looking at me like I'm talking absolute nonsense. But know you're not. It's just that kind of sense of, am I important enough to be here and say this stuff? Especially when you're dealing with mental health. Well, as well. It's like,
what do you know?
Of just what you're saying. Yeah. But I always think it's like a indication that I take what I do quite seriously, and I understand the impact that my words can have when you're put in a position of, oh, you know about mental health, and you might be able to say something that helps me. You can't underestimate that.
You're never going to change the whole world, right?
No.
But you can change little parts of it.
Yeah.
And I always feel like imposter syndrome for me, I picture it. I'm a very visual person, so I always visualise what something means to me. So imposter syndrome, I think I explained this once. I'm like, I picture it like this. I picture it like, no matter where I am, what I'm doing, there's a little Carl Pilkington figure hiding behind the door, ready to go. Bullshit.
Yeah.
That's it. I just get that. That's exactly what it is.
Call you right out.
Yeah, just call me out, no matter what I say. So every time I say something, I'm waiting for him to do it now. I'm waiting for him to pop round. And
he's coming. I invited him.
Yeah, just be like, no, you're talking absolute rubbish.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, right, that's how it feels for me. Like there's someone there. Yeah. There's no one there.
No.
And if someone does call you out, I'm like, well, I've got faith to know that I know what I'm doing. Yeah. Like when it comes to work, I think I work hard. I put a bit down on myself. Say, well, I don't deserve this promotion, or I don't deserve this praise. Yeah. But then some days I sit there and go, no, I do deserve this promotion. I do deserve it.
So positive. Like we're so good at negative thinking.
Yeah. It's easy.
Yeah, it's really easy. And there's a school of thought about like automatic negative thoughts that we have. I can't remember the psychologist's name who developed it, but he kind of he called them ants. Like ants ruin a picnic. Like automatic negative thoughts ruin a picnic. So there's like all these categories. There's 9 categories of like automatic negative thought that we're all meant to kind of fall into. Yeah, yeah. And the more we learn by repetition, so we build our neuroplasticity by repetition. It's why you have to show a toddler 100 times how to do something before they get it. It's like we need repetition. It has to be ingrained into us. And if you've thought something enough times, the chances are, unless you start to become consciously aware of it, that will continue to be what you think, and how we think impacts how we feel. It's like wearing a pair of glasses. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like for example, if you get dressed one day and you think, oh, I look a bit shit today. This is a mess. But I've 5 minutes late and I've got to go. Yeah. And you go out the house not feeling confident about yourself, and then someone might look you up and down, and you're like, I knew it. I look like an absolute plate of shit. Yeah. But they might be looking you up and down, thinking, nice outfit.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. But you just have this film on that's like we seek the evidence for our negative.
Of course
thoughts.
We do. Yeah. It's like, I told you, knew it.
Yeah, I knew it. Say I was right all along.
It's like so we were talking about social media a little bit before we started, and we were sort of saying how like we look back on our memories, time hop, and I'm so glad you said it because I thought exactly the same thing. As like, if I met me 10 years ago, posting that, I'd swipe the phone out of my hand. Myself. I'd be like, "What are you writing that for? What does that? What are you trying to achieve with that one tweet or with that Facebook status?" But it's that kind of social media. I mean, I love social media. Someone at the door.
Someone's at the door.
Oh, should we pause it?
Yeah,
or invite him in?
And if you've seen your former self.
So we're back now.
Yeah.
That was a postman at the door.
It was the postman.
Or was it post lady?
It was a postman.
Postman.
Delivering me some fake blood for my Halloween outfit.
Wow, that's
That's a segue.
So I had to, here's some blood for you.
You're very mad. Anyway,
so
go on.
Let's go back. We were so social media. Talking about what I have a love-hate relationship with social media. Right?
Yeah, me too.
Part of me loves it. I love the interacting with people, getting to know new people, sharing your loves and interests with people. That's what I love. Yeah. Which really, that's where it should end. Yeah. There should be no negative side of it. Really, there shouldn't be, because what I like is what I like. If you don't like it, then you go like something else. Thanks very much. But what I did recently, and if anyone who actually listens to this actually went to school, and you might be on the receiving end of this, I went through my Facebook and I just unfriended people that I had no kind of connection with. Yeah. And I don't want it to sound like I'm being authoritative. Well, this is my. But I'm just, no. Do you know what? I only know you from school. Yeah. Not really interested. Yeah. I don't want to sound like I'm better than you, but I don't need to see your post, because only one post has upset me. Well, not upset me, but one post has made me go, no thanks. Yeah. See you later. I'm pretty sure people have done it to me, which is absolutely fine. Yeah. But we live in this world where I use it as the Game of Thrones world, right? It's what I've sort of pictured. No, stay with me.
No, I'm with you.
So what it is, I love Game of Thrones, yeah?
Yeah.
It's brilliant. You love Game of Thrones. It's amazing. This person here loves Game of Thrones. We're going to talk about it forever. One person pops in and goes, I've not seen a single episode of Game of Thrones in my entire life.
Who are you?
Puts his feet up. And then people are like, yeah, me neither. And then suddenly it becomes like a war of like...
self-righteous.
And I'm like, well, the fact you haven't seen it, it's irrelevant. I haven't seen a lot of things. Doesn't mean I didn't go up to that lot and go, I've not seen a single episode of EastEnders. What are you going to do about it? It's nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
And is that world in it? Like people must be the only person never seen an episode of Game of Thrones. I'm like, pretty sure there's a whole continent of people out there without TV that have not seen Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So put yourself in that bracket, don't you? So it's that kind of attitude, and it's cool not to like stuff nowadays. It
is cool, and I also think there's a lot of people on social media. It's it's a platform that you can be quite self-righteous as well.
Of course you can.
Really self-righteous. As an example, my friend, my business partner, who I run like all these well-being retreats with, we both love animals, and she tagged me in this video about people doing like yoga with lemurs, right?
Okay.
And she jokingly said, clearly jokingly, because where do you get a lemur from?
Yeah.
We should do this at our next retreat because we do yoga on our retreat.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't see why not. 2 random women from the other side of the world started hating on me.
Oh, really?
I'm like, hi, Anna Davies, because it's a shitty thing to do, rah, 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 like really slagging me off. And I'm really trying to practice a bit of self-restraint because I'm quite fiery.
Yeah.
And I think maybe because I practice being so empathetic a lot of the time, when I'm not doing that, I think, no, fuck you. So I didn't respond.
Yeah.
I tried. It was like, it took all my might just to kind of say, I don't know you. Goodbye.
Yeah.
But they kept on and on and on. And I felt like I had to defend myself. And I was like, actually, I'm a vegan. I'm an animal lover. I'd never do this. Yeah. So I'll just await your apology.
Yeah.
And they never commented back. And I just thought,
of
how self-righteous have you got to be to just jump on a comment from someone across the world that you don't know? Like, you are really entangled in your own ego right now.
Yeah.
But then I know that people have written stuff, and I've thought, oh my, I can't let that go. And I've become quite self-righteous myself. Like, it's easy to do because it's faceless, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
It is, yeah.
Even though it's Facebook, it is like you can go and be whoever you want to be, and
that's it.
It's danger. Sometimes
it is weird though, isn't it? There's so much good about social media, but there's also so much bad. But that's like anything in life, I suppose. Yeah. Too much of anything. Being used incorrectly.
Yeah.
I suppose you could say that about anything. If a car's a great invention, gets you from A to B. Used incorrectly, very dangerous.
And a pollutant, FYI.
There we go. See?
An environmentalist.
You have to throw that in there.
Yeah. That's just because I'm like a hippie at heart. Have
you got an electric car?
No, I don't. This is the thing. And this is the
other
horse
thing,
and car. Right? So being a vegan, the vegan hatred.
Oh yeah,
is just massive. That's something that really like riles me inside, and I have to just make a conscious effort. This is a little bit like that
it is
deprecating thing. Like, you have to make a conscious effort to do stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? I have to make a conscious effort, and I don't always win. There's times when like people I know will be like, wow, you really lost your shit there. It's like, yeah, I did, but you have to make a conscious effort to try and not do the things that are damaging to you.
Yeah.
Because if I respond, just using veganism as like an example, I respond to every like, no, vegans, you're all so self-righteous, vegan. If I respond to every comment like that, I only like move myself into a place of deep anger, which is not helpful for me in any way, shape or form. And sometimes that leaks, but it's a bit like not being self-deprecating, that you have to consciously make an effort to change the things that are harmful for you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you found that you had to make a conscious effort
I've had to make
not be self-deprecating.
Oh yeah, because sometimes I'll just do it and then I'll be like, no, let's not do that.
Yeah.
Let's rein that in.
Yeah.
Let's love yourself a little bit more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even to the point of what I've started. I mean, I love a selfie, right? And I'll take a selfie, and then I'll won't post it because I worry that people are going to think, oh, look at him, he's up himself. Don't take a picture of that. Yeah, I'm like, no. Do you know what? The reason I took a selfie and the reason I want to upload it is because I'm actually quite happy with how I look.
Yeah.
So I think I listened to a Fern Cotton podcast, which Davina McCall was on, Happy Place.
Yeah.
And Davina McCall told this story when she was going through all that crap, when she had a therapist, she had a sponsor. Yeah. The sponsor said, I want you to take a mirror home every night, look into the mirror and say, I love you. Yeah. And she said she couldn't do it. 6 weeks went on, didn't do it. And then the lady said, well, why are you not doing it? She went, because I can't. I feel stupid. She went, and why don't you just say, I like you then? Yeah. And she said she picked it up and she couldn't even say, I like you. And she started crying. Yeah. And she realised that I can't even say I like you to yourself. Yeah. Can't even accept the way who you are. Yeah. And then, but now, you know, you've seen Davina McCall on TV. Now she's ultra positive. Banging. She says she loves everything about her. So, and I think that's great. So if I put a selfie up, I'm not asking for your gratitude or approval. I'm just going, no, I'm pretty happy how I look today. I quite like it.
It's like a self-affirming
kind
of thing.
I quite like my hair today. It went the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean? So, I've lost 6 pounds in the last couple of weeks. Yeah. I can see it. Don't care whether you can't. And that's kind of how I feel at the moment.
So it's like checking in with yourself. Like, yeah.
Because
Which is hard. That's actually really hard to do.
Very hard.
It's really hard to appreciate yourself. I mean, I think about how many times in a week I try and support people with that. And I've had a lot of therapy. You have to have a lot of therapy to be a therapist. You need to experience it to know. Yeah. And I still sit very firmly in the zone of don't like how I look, don't like pictures of me being put on Facebook. So it's a hard journey. Like even if you're working really hard at it, as you know, as I do, obviously because I'm talking about it and thinking about it all the time, it's actually really difficult to be okay with that.
And obviously, selfie is a sense of control of the picture as well. Yeah. Like you can see, like these Instagram influencers and people there's an art form to make yourself look better in a certain light and all that stuff, which is fine because you just want to make yourself look fine, but I try not to go down that route. I just I'll just take a nice selfie here.
Yeah. I really admire that. If there's any selfies of me on Instagram or Facebook, you can safely assume that I was probably drunk.
That's
at
true.
Home alone.
Because when you're drunk, you're in a vision of that. Just go, just say this will look great.
Yeah.
And then you look next morning, you think, wow, look at that blurry. Got sick coming out the side of my mouth.
Yeah. I can look at most of my Instagram pictures, and if they're of me, I can say, I probably had half a bottle of red wine then. I was drunk. Because I don't care what I put out on social media in terms of myself, my personality, my words, my thoughts. I've done so much introspective looking at myself now that actually there's not much that can bother me in terms of what people think of me personally, but physically that's a different ball game, and it's all part of there's something in therapy that we call self-actualization. Have you heard of that before?
No.
Okay, so self-actualization is about the therapeutic process basically, and the best way to describe it is like a tree. So if you imagine a growing tree in ideal scenarios, so all the right light, all the right nutrients, all the right water, all the right kind of nourishing, you will develop and grow to be the tree that you're meant to be, So kind of big old branches, full, fat, lovely, juicy leaves, looking really good, right? But when we grow, or, you know, as we're getting older and as we're children and through our experiences, there's stuff that kind of either tramples our roots or takes the nutrients away or a bit of shade, and some of the branches become a little bit gnarly or shorter than they're meant to be or don't have leaves on. And the therapeutic process of self-actualization is being able to kind of grow into the person you were meant to be. If you never, almost like you had a predestined journey, a predestined tree that you were kind of meant to be at birth, and then things kind of shade you and get in the way. And the therapeutic process is about working out whether you can kind of, you know, what got in the way of that root? Why is that branch a bit gnarly? And am I okay with that? Or is there something I can do to strengthen it so that I can continue to grow and kind of be who I'm meant to be? And but also being aware, that root's in the shade, that branch isn't as long as it should have been. It's about being aware of it but still being able to kind of grow. And so there's something about like my journey in kind of terms of self-actualization is that I know something I have to constantly work on is like self-image.
Yeah.
You know, but I know that, and I'm really, really aware of it. So that's, I think, the best thing you can ever do for your mental health is just know what you need to work on.
Yeah.
Like when you go to therapy, you don't necessarily. I always say to people that I'm not going to give you the answers. Like, I trust that you have them internally somewhere, and I'm just going to kind of facilitate you to help you find them. And you might work out why you feel like you have to always be on time or your world falls apart, or you might work out why you're self-deprecating, but that isn't actually going to make it better. You have to make conscious effort to change it.
That's why mental health awareness is so important, because it's like understanding it, because you're not going to be able to cure it and fix it like that.
No.
Like, so I think some people feel like, I'll go to one therapy session and I'll be cured.
Yeah.
No, it's like anything.
It's a long process.
It's like physical health, isn't it? It's like, if you don't look after your body continuously, you're just going to get fat and unhealthy. Yeah, exactly. So it's back and forth. You've got to work at yourself to make yourself happy about it.
Yeah, massively. And but it can be like, I'm obviously a big advocate for counselling and therapy because there's just something about, like, when World Mental Health Day was the other day. Yeah. And this is another example of how social media really irritated me that day. And I ended up sitting in the cinema. I was just about to see The Joker.
Wow.
And
what a day to watch that as well.
I felt compelled, like, in the 5 minutes before the film started, to kind of like write this post about mental health, because there was all these memes and like, love yourself and blah, 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 blah. And I just thought that is absolute shit. Like, the starter for mental health is being able to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Reach out.
Even just the science. Like, I don't know if you saw the poster, like the chemical makeup of our brain, like when we're stressed and overwhelmed, the chemicals that bounce around in us stop our brain from processing, and it's hard to kind of process information and take it in, and we don't process memory and all this kind of stuff. So just being able to talk in a calm situation changes the chemical makeup in our brain and helps us kind of process stuff. So memes are great. And like you say, sometimes you see something, it's like, oh yeah, that really sparks a thought. Yeah. But that actually doesn't, like, a lovely meme that's set to like Boca or whatever it is. Like, it isn't going to make you feel any better. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean. And that's what I said earlier. I was like, I didn't want to fall into a trap of just posting a meme or a motivational quote, which had no basis behind it. It was just, there's a quote, that's my post for the day. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'll try and do what you did. Like, if I'm going to post something, I'll put a little story about it. Like, if you actually read any of my blah blah land posts on Instagram, they go into the Facebook page as well. But I'll get some kind of quote. I'll change it a little bit if I feel like I need to change it for what I need to say. Yeah. And then I'll write something, and I'll usually make it personal to me. Yeah. Because, well, I'm not here to like tell you something. I'm here to give a little quote, fine. But then I'll put something about how that affects me. Yeah. And I feel like that's where I want to go with it. So I was like, I can help myself, you can help yourself. Yeah. If you get something from it and you connect with it, fine. And it doesn't have to be an inspirational quote. I put a lot of coffee quotes up because I love coffee. Yeah, man. Yeah. So I'm like, I'll put a coffee quote up, and it'll be like, but then what I'm actually trying to say is something different. Yeah.
But people connect with that, I think. Don't you?
Of course they do.
We get so desensitized. Like, I can scroll through Facebook and I'll be like, oh, Sharon's doing a quote about our kids are a world again. Like, I don't really care about that kind of stuff. And I scroll past it. That doesn't grab my interest. Like, I find that those kind of picture meme quotes do not grab my interest anymore, because they're just so, it's like so saturated with stuff that I personally find meaningless.
Yeah, well, they can be, and I'm like I said, I'll sit there and back up what I'm like, when I post something, but it's for me, it's my little bit, my little story, my little version of it. But social media now we scroll through a lot. Yeah. We forget about a lot. Yeah, things catch our eye. I go, oh, what's this? And it's usually a video of some cat doing something stupid.
I'm in for that.
Yeah, and then we continue going again.
I know,
and that's just the world we live in. I know. So one question I always want to ask, I may only ever ask you, may ask other people, but what do you do to make sure you're happy?
That's such a good question. What do I do to make sure I'm happy? I'm always in contact with my values. That's probably really important. Your values are like your unconscious life rules, aren't they?
Yeah.
Your values, kind of, if you cut you in half like a stick of rock, there'd be the words that kind of are driving up in between you. And whether you realise it or not, that's what you kind of make your decisions on life about. Always make sure I stroke my cat.
Yeah.
He absolutely fuels my world, even though he ignores me. Yeah, he's asleep right now.
Oh, yeah, it's over there.
He's pretending that he's not listening to the loving things that I'm saying about him. I connect with nature.
Okay.
That's the most... I kind of feel sick saying that to myself. But, yeah, connect with nature massively, because there's something about having a connection with something that feels bigger than you.
See, I'm rubbish at that.
Are you?
I'm rubbish with nature. I mean, I'm one a bit. I'm not saying I don't like going outside. I'm not a bubble boy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm just like,
I never leave the house.
Yeah, no, I'll go outside, but yeah, nature for me. But that's just me. Doesn't mean I don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
If anything, I appreciate space more than anything. Something which is completely out there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fun. And do you know what? I never used to, I grew up in the country. I've become a bit kind of almost like desensitized to it. It's like, oh yeah, that's a nice tree. But I think since I've moved to where I've moved to, the view out the back of my house is
nice,
crazy good.
To be fair, I'm the same, because I've got the same sort of.
Yeah.
I can drive around my village, and when people come to see me, they comment on how nice the village is. And
do you not find like you can decompress driving in, just like you're stepping away from hustle bustle?
Oh yeah, it's
like
quiet,
nice
and quiet, and it's not even that far out from the hustle and bustle of the city life.
Yeah.
And because of where I work, I'm out and about all the time, and when I come in, it's like quiet.
Yeah.
So it's nice. I can just sit there and take it all in.
Yeah. So, probably that. Yeah, checking in with my values and making sure what I'm doing is not in disconnect to those. Because if it's in disconnect, then I'm probably doing stuff that isn't good for me. Connecting with nature. That sometimes just means I look at it outside of my window.
Yeah,
not like spinning round.
You're still connected to
like
it.
The sound of music in the field out the back singing. Connecting with animals and also music. Music keeps me happy. I think time for myself, all of that culminates in I need space for myself to kind of, and I'm aware this sounds like the most therapy thing ever, but like to check in with me.
Yeah.
Because like anyone, you can totally get lost on like one way. I'm going this way. This is what's happening. I'm going in that direction, and not really checking in with what's actually happening for you, because we spend a lot of time in our heads, don't we?
Of course we do.
And we don't spend a lot of time just relaxing. So definitely.
I like that. I definitely agree with all of that.
Yeah. I have got a good quote for you, actually, having said that.
So should I write it down and then put it in
I
the
actually
back,
really
in
love
a bit
this
of
quote. Thinking about like checking in with yourself, I think this is a good quote, right?
Okay.
And it's actually from a psychologist called Carl Jung. Have you ever heard of him?
Nope.
Okay. So Carl Jung was a psychiatrist, psychologist, does a lot of work with people. And I always say this to people on my courses when I'm getting them. I kind of talk about checking in with your values.
Yeah.
And I will always ask them afterwards, like, how was that? And people will be like, that was really weird, and I'm not used to doing this kind of thing, or I really loved it, whatever. But I always think that this quote is a good summary, so prepare yourself.
Okay, I'm ready.
Because you can put this on a really pretty pink background.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so it says, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate.
Write that down for me.
Deep,
scan on Instagram later.
Yeah, but I quite like that, because it is true. Until you kind of check in with what's actually going on for yourself, you'd just be like, whoa, life's just happening to me.
Yeah.
And this is how I feel.
That's true.
If you don't check in with yourself, then you're not consciously aware of what's happening, and then you can't make changes.
Could easily lead down the path of why me? It's always me.
Yeah.
Always. This always
rubbish.
Happens to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes it does always happen to you, but maybe let's work together and make sure it doesn't happen to you again. Yeah,
it's proper cheesy, but finding the positive in stuff
definitely.
Sometimes is really, really important.
Mm-hmm.
Really important. Yeah, but I'm not saying I'm great at it, at
no.
all. Just not some therapy guru. Just like Zen, sat in a chair meditating like Madonna all the time.
He said that, and then he was just like, boom, mic drop. That's me done for the day.
Gosh. Done.
I'm going to go and watch some Game of Thrones.
Yeah. yeah. No, not now. Finish the last series.
Yeah. Let's not.
No spoilers.
Let's not leave it on a negative.
But yeah. So I would say just checking in with me.
That's good.
It's really simple, but
it is. Sometimes it is. I mean, It could be an easy question or a very difficult question.
Yeah.
Some people would go, I don't actually know why or
Yeah,
what.
some people might say, I don't know.
But some people are like, look, I've got a routine. This is what makes me happy.
Yeah.
So that's good, though. I like it. All right, so sort of before we sort of finish, one of the sort of main topics and focuses I was trying to get involved in the first season of this show was female empowerment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk to me.
So before we started, you turned around to me and said, so who have you got invited to the show? Is it just loads of women? And I was like, at the moment, yeah. And you were like, any reason for that? Yeah, because a lot of men don't want to talk to me.
Yeah.
But when it's something like this, it comes across like, well, I don't want to talk about my feelings or how happy I am. I'm not interested. Let's talk about movies, and let's talk about football, which I could do all day long. I'll be like, I'll do a football podcast again like I used to, and let's talk about football all day long. I'm happy for that. Yeah. But so female empowerment, what does that mean to you?
Oh, that's such a big question.
Big question, but I think that you can handle that question.
Female empowerment.
Your eyes went really big then.
Did they?
You were like
I zoned
that's
into
it.
a part of my brain, and the feminist in me.
That's it. You're
right
ready.
On.
Yeah.
God, I tend to think of it. So broad. The question's so broad. First of all, I think like empowerment should be the same for everyone.
Totally.
Regardless of.
Yep.
Regardless of gender. Mm-hmm. Empowerment's for everyone, kids.
It is.
Yeah. I think, you have to break down what empowerment means, doesn't it? Don't you?
Well, you do, yeah. And then suddenly we have to put female in front of it because it's like...
but you cannot ignore that there is a difference in the genders.
Big time.
So I don't know. Let me ask you, what do you think female empowerment is?
Okay, well, I've been thinking about it a lot, obviously.
Yeah.
And coming from, obviously, the male gender, but I can see it differently to how you see it.
Yeah.
But I think we all got a common goal, and the common goal is to build people up rather than break people down.
Yeah.
As a man, I can speak for this side of the fence.
Yeah.
And I can say men don't break men down as much as women break women down.
Yeah.
And it's not to say like men are better than women, because that's almost the opposite of what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there seems to be this horrible culture where women will find a reason to battle against each other
massively, and
men will just get on with it.
Yeah.
Not for the better of it, but then a lot of men won't step in and help.
Yeah. So
that's kind of where I've seen things from an outside point, and I don't like it, and I don't think it's very helpful. I don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
I have to sort of stand up now. Like I said to you earlier, I've changed a lot over the years, and I've looked at things, and I'm like, no, do you know what? If I hear someone say something derogatory or horrible, racist, sexist, even if it's casual, I'll step up and go, no, that's not right. But it's not me being the snowflake generation. I've done air quotes then. That's
snowflake! Yeah. Did you see the John Cleese thing that he said about snowflakes? No. He said, "Yeah, I've heard that word. It's something that morons use to describe people who care about other things other than themselves." It's like, yes, John Cleese.
That's a great one.
That is true.
But that's that weird sort of bubble now. People are like, "Oh, you're just snowflake. You're offended by everything."
Yeah.
And I always use this quote. It might be completely wrong. I said, just because someone's offended by something doesn't mean they're necessarily right. Okay.
No. Yeah.
But it's almost that case of like, but when you offend someone, maybe work out why they're offended. Is it actually a personal thing that I've offended them, or are they taking something completely differently? But anyway, so female empowerment, I just think that people need to like look at themselves a little bit more, especially in the culture we're in, and the media and the world, and the gender pay gap. I don't understand with a lot of things, especially big jobs where they're like, why is that person not getting paid the same? Because if you take gender away, I think we should all get paid for what we do.
How good or not good we are at stuff.
Exactly. But then what I hate at the moment is that certain companies are pushing forward to get more females in certain male-dominated areas.
Even if they're crap at it.
And it's almost that...
It's like a checkbox.
Exactly. And it's not the right balance.
No.
So
we could speak about this for hours.
We could.
Hours and hours. But you're right. Women do break women down more. I'll give you a good example. When I was working with kids, I was working with really difficult kids. So kids who had very broken homes, like involved in criminality. If you'd said to me, do you want to manage this group of girls, this group of boys? I'd take the group of boys any day, because the girls would be bitchy, screechy, emotional. The boys would be straight up. Yeah, they'd been having physical fights, and you'd be separating physical fights. But once they'd had that fight, they were done. I don't know if there's something about. I think female empowerment is probably about being kind.
Yep, definitely.
Kind and compassionate, unapologetic.
Yep.
So just thinking as you were talking then, that within the first 2 minutes of you being in my house, I said, I've just come from the gym.
You did?
I've got last night's makeup on.
Yep.
And I'm minging. And I apologised for how I looked.
That is true, yeah.
That's one of the most pervasive things about that gets in the way of female empowerment. And I'm not making a sweeping statement that men don't care about how they look and women, but is maybe for just like generations and generations and generations, you had to. I think it's almost like it's like a gene thing, like it's in our genes. Like if you think back to like Victorian times, if you're an ugly woman or ugly in the eyes of society, then you didn't really have a lot of chance to do a lot, did you? You had to be a reasonably attractive woman, or a woman who was born into money, not rich herself, but in a rich family, to kind of have some kind of standing. And it's always like that, I think. Like you, as a woman, you have to fight, and it's in your genes. And I'm really passionate about the fact that it's very difficult. I think it's really difficult for a man to understand what it's like to be a woman. Really difficult. Because how do you understand what it's like to be catcalled all the time? And how do you understand what it's like to be underestimated or talked down to?
Patronised.
You know, which it is a lot better now. But then there's like this flip side, isn't it? The more that women rise up and speak out, the more people get, another Me Too, or another, just jumping on a bandwagon now. It's like, no, women are just exploding because they've got the flipping opportunity.
It's like they're getting on the right track with the Me Too. They're getting people listening, but then it takes certain people to send it over the edge that then people then...
So you're disempowering another gender.
They take it away. Go, it's all gone now. Then don't worry, you've ruined it for yourself. You're like, no, it's not. It's not it. No, that's not how it works.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I think there's something about shaking off our historical. That's probably about being empowered. Is shake off the historical trappings of being a woman, and just be a person. Yeah, like be a person, and try and rise above suppression in a practical, thoughtful, logical, and rageful way.
Oh, I like that.
Do you know what? I do like that. Be practical. Don't lose your shit, because when we lose our shit, we do the exact opposite to the message we're trying to get across. But also have some fire in being empowered. Like I don't. It's about people being equal but acknowledging differences. Like I think if you're a woman, you need to be compassionate and kind to other women. Have some fire in your belly. And be powerful as you, not just you know, people are people regardless. We've got, you know, gender fluidity, non-binary. We have so many different people in this world that almost female empowerment can mean nothing and everything all at once.
So there was a quote. What's the game? Going for our quotes again. I
love it. We've dissed quotes, but now we're like,
you did.
Quote.
There was a thing that the thing that I was introduced to was the concept of masculine and feminine energy. Yeah. And it was like you have masculine, which is persistence, and feminine, which is patience energy. If you find a balance between the two, you'll manifest your desires. Okay, that sounds a little bit wanky, but it is kind of true. Yeah. And I think that's where I think female empowerment comes from. There's a lot of women in there. Yeah. Oh, hang on, my laptop's just decided to lock up on me. So, there's a lot of women out there that are very good at finding that balance. Yeah. They can find that balance like that. I wake up, I've got my balance. I'm patient, but I'm also forthcoming. I know what I'm doing. They're very balanced. There's a lot of men out there that have probably found that as well. I think I've found that balance myself. Yeah. But there's a lot of women out there that are very feminine, a lot masculine, and it kind of bridges that gap of how can we get everyone to start singing from the same hymn sheet?
But then who defines what's masculine and feminine?
No, but it's the energies that we have within ourselves. But then, you're right. What is the masculine and feminine? Because it is like just...
Who's defined that patience?
Well, that's how they've created
feminine energy. Because I'm actually not very patient at all.
But that's something you've been working on over the years.
Yeah, I'm reasonably impatient, but that's the thing. It's almost like I always feel really stuck with anything like this because I just think, on one level, it's like actually masculine, feminine, what your face looks like, whether you've got balls or a vagina. It's kind of like we can be whoever we are. And
of course you can.
History has defined feminine and masculine.
They have.
And I guess we can kind of own what we want it to be, but then I think it's a work in progress, isn't it? It's like I am guilty of, I'm a bit of a, look, I'm going to contradict myself. I was about to say I'm a bit of a tomboy, but that's like historical definition of if you're a woman, but you like to arm wrestle with blokes while singing pints, then you're a tomboy.
Or climbing trees.
Or climb trees. Yeah, absolutely. Or you like to go camping and you're a bit of a tomboy. But that's just, I think history defines us. Yeah. And in 50 years, I would suspect that there won't be much of that anymore at all.
No, I think it's going the right way.
Yeah.
But it's going to take a while to get there.
Yeah.
We look back when we were in our 90s and that, and we're sitting there watching kids. Just gender's not an issue, not a problem.
All over
and we'd just be like, oh, okay.
We won't even know what.
But then we'd be like, we don't get it.
Yeah, we'd be like, in my day we had gay, lesbian, bi, gender fluid, and trans, and that was it.
Yeah. Stop adding to them. But that's it. It's ever evolving. And that's what I like. It is. Everything's ever evolving.
And half of me loves that, and the other half thinks, why have a label for anything?
Yeah.
Like, without sounding proper cheese. Cheese, Rama. Human can sometimes be enough. And what is that? Like, what does it mean to be human? That's almost a better thing to focus on. Like, what makes a good human being? Probably makes a good man, a good female, a good trans, a good gay, a good bi, a good everything. That's it's just. It's all one thing.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think we should sign off here.
Okay.
We could talk forever.
I could literally talk forever. However, I'm on the verge of needing a wee.
Yeah, that's a good way to end it. I'm on the verge of needing a wee. We've been sitting here too long. So I think we need to go to do it.
Yeah.
But thanks for
thank you.
doing this. Hopefully you've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Hopefully hope it's a nice way to start your day.
Yeah.
It's a Monday, so good way to start the week.
Yeah.
You'll go away and you'll think about all these questions.
I'm run a wellbeing group now.
There you go. See,
thoughts in my head.
Yeah, I'm off to go
work.
Ask
other people the question: how do you look after your happy?
Yeah, there you go. See, copyright.
Copyright.
Just say, make sure you listen to this podcast when it comes out, then maybe you can hear it all. So, is there any? I know we're talking about social media, but is there any social medias that people could follow to have a look at any of your stuff?
Oh God, isn't that a bit self-promotion?
You don't have to. I'll give you the opportunity, but you can sit and say, nah.
Do you know what? There is a lot of good stuff about looking after your mental health on my page, which is the Bloom Project, which is facebook.com/Let's Bloom Together.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. So, well, thanks Anna for
bringing
on the blah. There we go. But
content with no meaning, and it's depressing.
I'm sure
we've done our job.
We've done all right. All right, okay. Thanks a lot.